guys, welcome to my Cypress automation class from zero to hero. And before we start all automation process and learn how to automate web application with the Cypress, first of all, I would like to clarify the terminology which we will use. To automate any web application, you should clearly understand how to locate any web element on the web page. And in order to do that, you should know what the DOM is and how to navigate against the DOM. So if we make a right click and inspect element, this is Chrome developer tools of our application under test, and you will see the HTML structure over here. So this is our DOM. And you should be very confident in how to find web elements over here. So we will discuss right now what the DOM or HTML structure consists of. So you will be very clear how to navigate in HTML and find locator for any element in HTML. And I would like to talk about it on this example of a simple HTML code for input email field. So let's analyze what it consists of. One of the biggest problem which I've noticed for the automation engineers is to find web elements. And this problem come out of the not clear understanding of what is the naming of each HTML field and each HTML value. And that creates a confusion how to create the correct locators in any automation tool like Selenium or especially Cypress. I would like to clarify that for you. So let's start with HTML. So HTML structure has HTML tags, and these tags called HTML tag name. Usually HTML tags come in pairs with open and closing tag. For example, this div is open tag and div with a forward slash is a closing tag, and this is the input HTML tag, which do not have closing tag, is just have this angle brace which is closing this tag. Inside of the HTML tag are HTML attributes, which are in Chrome browser highlighted in red, and they called HTML attribute names. HTML attributes has value, and they are usually highlighted in blue. And sometimes HTML attributes can have values and sometimes they are not. For example, this HTML attribute name placeholder has a value email, or type attribute has a value email as well. But NB input HTML attribute do not have value, but it is attribute as well. Also important thing to know that ID and class are also HTML attribute names. IDs and classes has a special role in the HTML structure because ID is a unique identifier of the web element and classes define the style sheet. But it is also attribute names, and we will talk about the special roles of ID and classes later. Also, class name has a values. And important to understand that these long class, for example, is not one value. This class has three different values. Class value number 1, class value number 2, and number 3. Input full width, size medium, and shape rectangle are three different class values, and they are separated by the space. This is also important to know because you can use each of these class names, size medium or shape rectangle, or as a separate locator by class name. Next thing, let's talk about another example of HTML. This is the code for table, which has a table body. We have 3 table rows, 1, 2, 3, and for the first table row, we have 3 columns as table down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's talk about it as well. As we talked before, HTML tags usually has opening tags and closing tags. In this particular example, for table column, TD tag has the closing tag at the end. For the table row and table body, they are located in the bottom just because they are opened over here. The values in between angle braces, in this example 1.8 MB, dir, or 5, this is the regular text value. So everything what you see on the web page as a text usually located in between the angle braces. Why I say usually? Because not always. Sometimes this text can be hidden in the properties of the browser, and we will talk about this later and how to work with the properties and how to get the values and assert the values from the properties. But in most of the cases, all the text you see on the web page is located in between the angle braces of HTML tags. The small 3 dots means that there is some nested content inside, and also you can understand by this small icon. When the small arrow turned right, it means that some content is inside of this column, and if you will click in the inspector in the Chrome DevTools on this small icon, it will open for you this content. Also, let's talk about the relations between the web elements. Let's use this table row with the first table row of our table as our key element. All elements located above our key element are parent elements. So table body HTML tag is a parent element for table row, and all other elements which will be above the table body and up will be parent elements. All elements which are located inside of the table row are child elements in relation to table row elements. And everything what is inside of table row, all elements which will go deep into the tree, is considered a child elements. Sibling elements are elements which are located in the same level of the structure. For example, these table rows, 4 rows, if you draw the straight vertical line, you will see that they are aligned and they are siblings to each other. We have 4 columns, table downs, which are siblings, and we have 3 table rows, which are also siblings to each other. So this relation of web elements to each other, you should really clear understand. And let's make a quick summary of what we just discussed in this lesson. HTML DOM contains of HTML tags, HTML attributes, and attribute values. Class and ID are also HTML attribute names, despite they have a special role in the HTML structure. Class attribute can have several values, and each value is separated by the space. HTML tags usually come in pairs of opening and closing tag. Closing tag has the same name and /. Value in between angle brackets is a plain text. Elements above the key web element are parent elements. Elements inside of the key web element are child elements, and elements placed at the same level side by side are sibling elements to each other. So this is pretty much it. I hope it was useful, and we will use all this information and all this knowledge in our next lesson, where will we discuss how to build the locators and how to find the locators in the Cypress. So see you in the next lesson.